get it on the leaves? Does it burn the leaves?
No, that's not.
So you use that also just as a cereal you buy on your business?
When I'm repotting, I just keep that handy, so I don't have a mixture of the really nasty kind. I could do that later and, you know, gear up for that, but now this Phalaenopsis right here has some problems. All of the good roots look like are out on top. And there's new ones starting, so I thought I would start with that. Keep your labels. And this is the way I repot. This may not be the right pot, this may not work for you, but this is the way I do mine. I bought a new pair of clippers. I thought it'd go faster than using single edge razor blades. You can get them at Lowe's and a whole pack of them, but they're a little slower. So I thought I'd clip today. And I'm clipping all of these dead roots off.
How do you know if they're dead?
They're brown and there's nothing there. There's no
They're
root
soft,
there.
squishy.
Not white anymore.
And if they weren't, they are now.
And you can see what's good and what's not without any problem at all.
Okay. Those roots that were in the mix that were dead, were they dead because it wasn't a quick draining enough mix?
It probably the caretaker's problem. But this plant needed some attention and it didn't have a bloom spike on it, so that's the reason I pulled it. This is an old bloom spike. Cut that off. I'm thinking I'll take that leaf off. Clean it up. And I'm trying to hold it up on this pedestal. Can everybody see? Okay. I'm gonna call that good. And I'm going to give it a little squirt. That pedestal's going to be a problem, I can see. A few peanuts in the bottom. And this is the mix that I made. It's bark, perlite, and charcoal, and it is dry.
Now, is that the same as Tom's mix?
Basically, yeah. I just use whatever thing I'm using for a dipper, and I'll put 4 barks, 1 charcoal, 1 perlite, and I did put some tree fern in with this.
That means you're trying to get rid of it?
No, I'll, if we have time, I'll show you all something that's in tree fern. Put some in, give it a pop or two to settle. I'm not much for punching.
Do you think there's any difference in potting Phalaenopsis straight up or tilted over to the side?
That's a personal thing. I know one lady that wants hers tilted because she waters and she, you know, not real careful about putting the water there, and she wants them tilted so they'll drain themselves. But I like mine sitting up, so that's what I do.
So when you repot it, you can pot some, like, cause my stalk is getting long.
If
You
it'll
can
snap
repot
off, I
some-
snap it off.
Well, you can so you can pot the air roots down into the pot.
Yep.
Cause mine's growing and it's growing and it's growing and it's starting to go like that. And again, I like mine a little bit so that my you know.
Now, there's some of those, if you force them in a pot, you're gonna break them.
But you can't, if you can get them in there, it doesn't hurt to cover them up
Yeah,
because they're still getting the air.
and I just put them in there and turn the plant or the pot, either one, and it'll just twirl around in there.
Okay, thank
'Cause
you.
I don't like to do this.
Thank you.
Okay, put the label in it, and I'm calling that one good.
Kathy, I always thought you were supposed to soak your bark the day before.
I do at home, I thought it would be better today since it was so cold and cut down on the way
Making it longer
to
and
get
longer.
them back home.
Do you normally soak your medium for
I do.
how long, an
I
hour?
do, I put it, if I'm gonna pot tomorrow, I'll soak it today.
Oh, okay.
And drain it.
Yeah.
So you make your mixture and then you soak it?
If I can think far enough ahead or plan far enough ahead that I'm gonna repot
I
tomorrow,
like mine.
I'll put it down today,
I love mine like that.
overnight. This is another one that's a procurement, and I've given lots of these little stars because this plant makes all these little things down at the bottom, and they're exactly like the mother plant. And it's a little blue bloom, and it's very pretty, I think.
And what did you call it, the air kinda,
Pardon me?
what'd you call that one that you?
Procurement.
Okay.
I think it's Kenneth Schubert. Yes, it's Kenneth Schubert.
You hold this?
And it just quit blooming probably last month. And this is the old bloom spike,
You hold this?
and I left it on so I
You sit in
could
this chair.
cut it. Same deal. Few peanuts. And this one has roots coming out over the top of the pot also. You can squeeze on the pot and pull. Hopefully you won't break very many. And that one's stuck. Now this one's in better shape than the last one. This is you, that's been a crown of its own that didn't make it. And a lot of these old roots you could just pull off with your fingers, you don't have to do any of that cutting. And I do that when I can.
If you found one on it that had a keiki on the bottom of the root, is this the time you would determine if it would be best to separate it?
Is this what you're calling the kiki?
Well, I cannot,
Get up there.
I don't have my glasses and
I
my
call it
mouth,
kiki that-
my
that
mouth's
grows
all
on
over this
this.
video, but I
Alright.
didn't know if I wanted this direction.
My kikis that I recognize grow on the original bloodstock. This is coming out from the crown,
Yes,
but it's exactly like the mother.
yes, I have one I bought yesterday that has one on it, but when would you, how many roots would need to be on that before you could separate it, and how would you do it? Would you just, I mean, I need to cut it, and it should wiggle kind of like a like a daylily, kind of?
They seem pretty tight.
Okay. So
I
maybe-
just usually wait till the pot's too full and then I take some. I take some off.
Okay. I didn't know if they were loose like daylilies, you know, and they just kind of popped off,
Usually they're attached to the main plant.
so you would have to cut it. Okay. I didn't want to snip it. Kill it.
Really solid, they attach it, try to take them off, you'll break them off. Kind of critical.
So they're okay to lease it?
I'm taking these yellow leaves off, I think, so they don't turn green again. And put it in there just barely below the rim, hold it and fill it up.
Razor blade for each plant.
No, I do not. If I could get them with my fingers,
Is it,
I
I
do
can't tell what
that.
kind of it is.
And I'll usually do a flat,
Like a cavalier or is it?
well, before I change the clothes. That's probably not ideal, but that's the way I do it. I'm sure you guys, I do.
I can't see that part either.
Alter yours if that's.
It's green. You can leave them on there, it's just that some growth plants you have to see different kinds. On a video, and a semi-video, so the semi-video ones, quick new growths out. They kind of like either walk across the pot or they can brush across.
This one is
Alcohol 409, it would kill a virus.
I would let it get to a couple of roots on it. You don't want to repot it no longer than
So,
it's
I buy two pots, but mostly I wash mine, I'll soak them in, OxyClean and a little bit of bleach and
Okay, probably,
and let them lay out in the sun. The sun
this
is
is the
good.
one that I'm interested in. She grows
Okay.
very nice. Amazing.
I'm gonna bring my glasses next time.
Yeah, and I didn't use it on the section. Okay. This is a pastel petal. I brought these phalaenopsis because I thought everybody probably had phalaenopsis. And this is a pastel petal, and I think it's a reasonably good looking plant. It's beautiful. But it only had one bloom stalk left. And to me, that should have had at least
It's a
three.
lady slipper.
So I don't know what's going on there, but I'm gonna repot it. And I'm
So-
hoping to get it back in that pot if I can.
So you're repotting because it only had one flower, or you're repotting because it needs to be repotted?
I don't know whether it needs to or not. I
Okay.
just thought it just had more bloom stalks than one.
Cool, I like it.
Yeah, so here.
I think you need two plants, one for your friend and one
I think you could divide that.
for. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm gonna try to get it back in this pot, but if I can't, I will two to divide it. So we'll see what's in. It's a good idea though. So
I know nothing about
it.
I know nothing about it, right? I just said, oh, I'd rather be in mud.
My plant probably has like two growths.
I don't keep records of when I repot stuff or when I spray, so I don't keep records of anything.
Got a couple that are cloud. They're small plants.
So it's full of roots. The mix doesn't look too bad.
I know that they like to be repotted.
And it's gonna take me a minute to work this out. But it's putting out new roots. This right here with this white yellowish tip on it is a new root. So that's a good sign.
Those are all fits.
Kathy, would
Put
you
'em in
consider
park.
that root bound?
Pardon me?
Would you consider that root bound, or is that pretty good for
Well,
roots?
from what I found, orchids like to be pot bound.
Right.
I think it's grown well. That's why it's full of roots.
Well, why didn't it have more blooms on it? That's what I wanna know.
You
I
don't
think
get
you'll find
ribbons
it
for the,
out.
for the
Well,
green.
y'all know
Took
I
it out.
love Pam, so I might not pay as much. If it were some other variety, I probably wouldn't give a notice. But I don't know, I just always loved the Pam,
Flowers.
probably always will. Yes, sir?
I think she's trying to work it apart right now. See it? Those
That's another thing that I don't.
Hey, I got a blue.
Those just grow like
Hey, I get excited with the spikes.
So those are definitely like that.
My Pam and Phalaenopsis,
I'm just trying to coordinate it. with something.
never go outside in the summer. Other things go out, but they don't, so.
So she grows hers inside.
I'm afraid to get bugs. I'm not bugs.
No, I decided.
I found a bunch of bugs. I was gone for 2 weeks.
And these are all old dead leaves that are caught in there that you have to get out, or at least
Yeah.
without getting in there and digging them out. I'm gonna snip that off, because Try to keep up with the rates.
Leaves.
I found them in the water barrel and on the floor, in this trash. By the way, this trash makes good mulch for your flower beds. You might take the peanuts out because they blow across your yard, but. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do 2 pots on this one, so it'll just be a repetition.
Why are you picking that size pot? Sorry, I'm asking questions to try and drive some answer.
That's a good question. I knew it wasn't gonna go back in that
Okay.
after I tore it all up.
Okay.
So
But you're not going up
No.
much.
I don't really have room for more pots. I try to keep them in just maybe a bigger pot. I don't think it would work.
It's too big, yeah.
There's that other one. If I put about 3 inches of peanuts in that, I might resort to doing it like that.
I would bet you have a nice specimen in bloom
Yeah.
next year.
I think I'll change my mind on
I'm gonna
that.
buy that.
If I've got enough bark.
Aren't you convinced that
Okay, she using the same things for everything.
Yes.
Well,
Because you know what?
We do.
Okay.
I think you should raffle one of those
See,
off.
I've got lots
She
of
brought
peanuts.
peanuts. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
it's nice to know they come in handy for something.
Just don't get the ones that are, biodegradable.
They
Yeah,
melt.
I know.
Biodegradable.
And I'm gonna put 3 handfuls of bark on top of that, or mix.
Different things for every kind. But you don't need that.
I cleaned one and didn't clean the other.
But there's not any mix, and it didn't help me. It's almost-
I used to use a lot of clay, but I found out that there's lots of extra weight to those. And you get several on a shelf or something, and it makes a terrible mess when the shelf falls. So I went strictly to clay.
So it's not anything against clay, except
No,
that they're heavy?
no. Maybe
Heavy.
camellias, I'll keep a camellia in a clay pot because they're
Yeah.
pretty much top heavy. But I cut out the weight when I can.
I put my cool blowers in clay once in a while because the evaporation through the clay will help keep the roots cooler.
Right.
Mhm.
And Carter and Holmes had in their catalog one year that they put their fragmentidiums in clay, in sphagnum, sitting in water. Well, that really sounds like a winning deal, so I potted some up just exactly like that and set them in water, and they didn't last a month. So I did away with that.
That's exactly what happened with my frags. I put them in
Okay,
the
I'm gonna
greenhouse.
try to
It
keep them
like
back
it.
up. And hold,
Keep them tight. On it, like,
I hope I
Or
brought
that
that.
cocoa sport, it soaks it up too.
That holds a lot of salt, though.
I don't think this will have any bloom spikes by March, so. That's the reason I'm doing this. And I don't have a season for repotting. I repot all year round, just about.
You just
If I-
find one that you think needs to be repotted?
Needs it, and got time to do it, and I'll usually keep a little bit of mix handy at all times. I don't like it to sit around a month waiting on me, but, if I think I'm not gonna get to it, I'll scatter it out in one of these tubs, and these tubs came from Tom Larkin. And they are really handy, he used them when he repotted, and,
You get those.
So repot your regularly,
Like Home Depot has.
I think tear up the roots.
Yes. Yeah, you wanna save as many roots as you can. And pulling them apart like I did, you're gonna lose some, but they're gonna make new roots fairly easy. And I'm gonna show you that hopefully in the next segment if we have time. Do we have more time?
It's 2:41.
Where's Steve? Do we have more time?
Mr. President?
Oh, sure, put it on me.
It won't take very long, I'm not gonna repot them, I wanna see something and show you all something, if it's worked or not.
So you decide when it, not by a year, like every 2 years, every year, you just see a plant and decide
They
that,
will start declining, you can tell, or that they don't, when you water, if they don't drain really fast, you know that's getting mucky in there.
okay?
And like that one, that should have had more blooms on it. And this is one of Tom's plants. It had a label in it, but it didn't have a name on a label. And I
Try to
brought
give
one
him a
of
good talking to.
Tom's
Beat it up.
paths.
Next step.
She probably slapped it around a few times.
And it's really nice on the bloom, and I'd like to find out its name. I'm sure it has a name. I have yellow and brown striped, long twisted petals.
Philippines.
It's different from that. And I don't have another one that blooms the same time this one does, so I can compare them. So, I don't know.
Looks better already.
Mine doesn't. And then I like them more than 2 or 3 times until it. And this is a small path that I would like to put in this pot.
Did you just buy that one?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. I was just curious.
The mix is really loose in it. And there's a lot of tree fern in it.
When do you use sphagnum moss?
A lot of times I will, put some sphagnum moss in my fragmipediums to hold more water, because I'm not a water person. I don't like to water. I know some people think you gotta give them a little water every time you walk by, but I'm not one of those people. And I don't have a water day. I just water when I get tired, and all my plants get pretty dry
Well, that's nice to know.
before they get me. And I used all my peanuts, so I'm gonna go ahead and pot him without it. I don't see any mealies, and they like to have a little house right around there in all of these, especially down in there. And when I see a yellow leaf, I'm thinking there's probably a mealy in there. Part of the time there is, but I don't see any on this one. So we'll call that one good and go on. You can kind of hold it by the ears and eyeball it. Got volunteers to clean up the mess?
Sure.
He brought brooms, so we're set.
I know, I brought a little broom because I knew there'd be a mess.
Okay.
Some people said they pot theirs in the kitchen. Is that you, Suzanne? Do you make a mess?
People buy small plants, they always ask, how long will it be till it blooms?
Right.
Well, it depends a lot
Yep.
on the culture you give it and the size that it naturally needs to be
Yep.
before it'll produce a bloom.
And how old that little plant is. Okay, we'll put the label back in that. Okay, got one more deal, 2 more deals. But I'm not gonna repot these. I just wanna show them to you. For a reason, and I'm hoping the reason I was given these plants last March. I was given 3, and I took them home, and 2 days later, I wanted to look what was down in the pot. So I unpotted all 3 of them. There was not one live root in the whole thing. So I cut it all off, all the dead roots. They were full of roots, but there was no live. And they were passed, so I was gonna try to revive them. So they've been in this mix almost 1 year.
You did nothing different, the same as what you did with the one you just
I
repotted?
put mostly tree fern
Oh, okay.
with perlite and charcoal. But I don't remember putting any bark. I might have. Okay, this is what I wanted to see. You can see these new roots. That's been a year coming there, and there's 2 new growths. So that was a pretty good sign when I saw that.
And you had cut, there was not a single root on it.
Not one root. I'll just knock this off and show you. I've got more of this at home. It can wait till I get home. These roots are really hard, and I cut them all off right up to where the roots start to come out, on all 3 of them. The other one was a bigger plant, and it's not as far as long as these, I don't think. I'm just gonna put some bark back in this to hold it till I get home, and then I'll change it, probably tomorrow. Probably won't do it.
So your theory is the tree fern helps regenerate the root?
I don't know, I thought it was a smaller,
The smaller material?
and I thought maybe that would give it a better chance. It was just me. It wasn't anything that I really thought would be true. I was just gonna try that, thinking that might be a better choice, so that's what I did. And I did all 3 of them the same. And we'll check on this. Now, there's no new growths on that one.
Type of, it's not easy.
Maybe I won't tear this one up as bad. Yeah, there's some bark on top of that one. Oh, good show. Good. So that did really good, and the tips of these are that yellow, white. So they're growing right now. I'm satisfied with that. I've done a lot of small, maybe little plants like this with no roots, but I've never attempted the big ones. But these didn't have much of a chance if they didn't grow new roots, because they were just really bad shape. And the roots were all mushy and smelled bad. So, okay. I think I'm done.
Thank you.
Still cleaning up the mess.
Any final questions?
Do you ever use any of the root tones or anything like
I
that?
have a jar of root tone in there. I didn't use it on this.
Okay, it won't hurt them.
I mostly use root tone when I do the fall off of my outdoor summer annuals or whatever I want cuttings of, and I always dip those. But as far as trying on this, it might work a little better, I don't know.
Tell me again what you have in your spray bottle, I missed that.
Okay, it's a pint of alcohol, a pint of 409, put it in a gallon jug and fill it up with water. It smells, but it's not a toxic chemical. It's not like some stuff. Say what type of alcohol? It's 70%.
Rather than bourbon.
Rather than bourbon, don't waste bourbon.
Okay, I'm gonna start this